Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. This isn't the recap. This is almost like a pre-recap of the recap because lots of earnings are coming out and I'm going to be trading them, so I'm not going to be doing a recap after. But I will be in the city tomorrow early because I'm going to have a lot of options going on, and I'm usually not here. I'm in Short Hills, so I'll do some kind of video following up on what happened tonight. But this is actually probably better for you because I get to go over the levels with you and we get to see where things are at now and what the thought process is. So just going to get right to it. If you look here at the chart of the S&P cash, by the way, it's 210 right now, 210. So far today they shook the tree a little bit, but kind of held where they had to. Went as low as what? 29.97, which was just around the prior low of 29.96. Actually, no, right there. So at this point, this probably means a little bit more than the 29.88, and I have a feeling that that was probably the low of that move today, because now people are going to be waiting to hear what happens with Intel and Amazon and Twitter tomorrow. So at this point, this 3,006 is not as relevant because that was what we took out here, but then we just kind of held in there. So that is the range. We came back, tested the 8-day, held, didn't break it. No real damage, just you're allowed to have a down day, and that's what happens when you have earnings season, and it's very, very specific. Kind of cute the way things work out, but it is the way it is. The Qs, what did you do? You were kind of weak today also. I guess you could say the same thing. Came in and held right around the prior low, so went below 193.03, came back above it. So at this point, if I was to kind of change this up a little bit based on today's action, it's pretty normal. Tonight's going to really be the telltale. Wide range bar, so the market kind of didn't know what was happening, but it did open up and didn't hold that. So if you were long stuff and you sell into strength, which we always preach, meaning like sell some, buy a dip, etc., well, then you did okay because you sold some as it didn't hold this 195.16 and traded back below it. And anyway, those are the indices, okay? The small caps didn't give any follow through, but yeah, that's what the small caps do. Shouldn't have really came this far down. I guess it's still fine. This is why a lot of people don't trade the IWMs, because it's very hard. Like if this was going to be special, it probably would have held here, and then because it's the IWM, you give it the benefit of the doubt, so you probably wind up getting stopped out. I guess at this point, whatever this low is, what's today's low, 155.19, you could actually which it held the first breakout. That is now your new point of reference here, and this really doesn't mean much anymore. Now you can kind of raise this. Now this is your new resistance area, so probably messes with everybody now for the next few weeks after giving you a 2-day symmetrical trade. That's just the way the IWM is. So here's your high. Now what's this? 157.71, below the 158.03, but you did have some time to sell it. Okay, this is that's where this pivots from. It opened above and went red. So if you were long it from yesterday, you sell some, and then maybe you're still in some. Now it's got to prove it could hang out. The banks, yesterday everyone was giving me a hard time for selling Goldman around 221.50. I was like, what, Goldman messes with everybody. It doesn't have to, you don't have to sit in it for a straight line. And then today, Goldman, came back in, but I guess you could say it went below this 220, and what did this hold? 218. So now 218.23 is your point of reference. Okay, it did hold it, but again, you got to be very careful with these things and take your trades unless you're really loose. And this was a nice trade from 1, 2, 3. You don't need to sit in something after 3 days, or you sit in a very little just to keep yourself engaged. Can it continue? Yes, to up there, but it doesn't have to do it again in a straight line. But at this point now, you have 218 there, and it's hanging in just fine. So let's just get into where the action is. Okay, at this point, we know we have Amazon, we have Google, and we have Twitter. Those are the 3 earnings that I'm kind of focused on besides the positions that I have. So let's go through Google first. Google, nice recovery today. Okay, at this point, I bought the calls yesterday, right around when it was 11:30. I guess right now, where is it? It's 11:40. Wow, that's good. So I'm probably up about $7, $8 on the calls now. If they didn't, and this pattern is pretty symmetrical now. So I'm going to post the, what's it called, the fact sheet. So Google's basically saying, The gross revenue is 38.15, which sometimes you got to be careful because they do TAC, X-TAC. Sometimes they made really good money when they report the X-TAC and it seems lower, they bang at $30, and then all of a sudden it was a lower number, and then you buy it in the hole, it goes green, and then it goes above, and then you double dip. But that's dangerous. Not saying to do that. So anyway, because so TAC would be 7.2 billion. So sometimes that comes out first. So anyway, net revenue, 30.8. So I would think if you hear gross revenue over 40, I would think, where this is, which is no man's land, you probably could be a buyer, especially if it starts taking out that 1158. Operating margins 22.5%. That's important too. Hopefully the operating margins is right around there or higher. So, let's see if they could beat on revenue and do better on margins. And if so, and it acts well, I think, you could probably buy it through 1158, and then if it stays above it, there's really nothing to 1201. If obviously they miss, my options will be worthless, and it'll come in, and I'm not going to be buying a dip after hours. But here's some support. This is a 1075 if it misses, and then obviously you have a 1027. So this is support 1, support 2. If it's very strong and you can get it, the solid report, it's not really priced for for much. You could still buy it up to here, and then you have 40 points to resistance, and then there's a whole gap here. So I am in the 1130 calls, and I'm going to stick with them. If it misses, it'll be a 0. If it gets above this and goes here, it'll be a double plus. Amazon, little wishy-washy. Overall, again, the pattern is right there. I talked to my hedge funds, and they're like, everybody loves Amazon, but again, they're going to have to deliver. So in order to deliver and make money, it's going to have to get up through 2035, get through 2050, hold both with a solid report, and then maybe you could see 2100 or more. If they miss, or if they're just in line, or some things they find wrong with it, chances are it's going to, it's not going to pay my options. And then what's this? This is the 50-day. What's the 50-day now? That's 1918. So 1918 would be a spot that if it gets hit, you want to see if it kind of bounces down there. Here's 1918. I would not be buying it so fast here in 1951. That's just 50. Unless if it's like in line, it might just be back and forth and just mess with all the options. But I would say more compelling is you want to know where the 50-day is, and then I guess this is where it kind of broke out from down here. So this is this would be a big miss, and the market would be getting crushed. So I'm not interested really in buying the dip if they miss, because who knows where it could happen. I tried that with Netflix and I got crushed. If they beat on everything, one of the things my friend said for for Amazon, they said they want to hear 13% units is the bogey. That's what he said, meaning above 13% units, which I don't really know what that means. So 13% units. I have the first call thing, which I will definitely put out to you guys. So it's saying, revenue 62.5 billion, which is above what they said about 6. So 63.5 is the high end. So I would say it's got to be above like 65 billion. It's got to beat by a few billion. And then gross margins is 43.3, which I'll send. So if you hear like 45% margins and 65 billion in revenue, chances are you could probably buy all the way up to 2050, sell some, and then try and keep your hands off of it, to go. If it's in line or a little below, then you got 1918, and then you got this below. So we'll see. At this point, I'm really not that comfortable, because if Google, Amazon, and Twitter don't hit, I'm going to lose a lot of equity in my options, and I just made a decent amount of money the past few weeks, nickel and diming. But with the way these premiums are, they're big. So we'll see, and we'll also trade them. I was just talking about Twitter. Twitter. I had this stock. I sold it when it was green today. Why did I sell it when it was green? Well, you guys know my sell rules. A, earnings are coming up soon, and B, it opened above this 38.97 level and couldn't hold it. So that's part of my sell rules. But I know I have the options. So at this point, I'm going to hold. I bought the 36s, like $1.50. I'm going to stay with them, and then I bought the 38s yesterday. And if they prove again another quarter that they're getting traction and that they're making money off their MAUs, gets above 39, there's really not much until about 41. And then if you look at the macro pattern, that's your next resistance. So This will be out tomorrow morning, so we'll see if we're at my desk at that point. Probably better off not to be at my desk, because I'll just, if the options work, the options work, versus trading it, because sometimes it's erratic. But if I'm at my desk, in order for it to be really special, it's got to get above and stay above, 41. First thing it could do is if it gets above 39 and holds 39, then you have a little bit of that void. So that's that. As far as why is the market weak, after going through those levels like I just went through, you should think about Facebook. What did I say? If it gets above 205, you could see 214. Yesterday after the close, it went above 205 and it went straight to 214, and then got rejected there, and then played around through 208 all day, and and that was that. And then this morning I'm like, it's got to hold 205. If it doesn't hold the momentum level, it could come in. Some of you guys made really good money shorting, others just got out of the way, and Facebook now has this big, gross, outside day candle. What was the pivot? Right here, 205.30. Some guys probably made money shorting versus the high here, and once it couldn't hold this, you're out of the way. Now, it's hard to tell, except for it's, big wide range bar, and it's going to need time to prove that it could either hold this or it's heading a lot lower. This is a pretty big red dog reversal today, in Facebook. So, but we'll see what happens with the other reports later. Netflix is cute. Netflix, like the contrarian trade, it was the first one to miss on earnings. So when these things come into focus, all of a sudden they bounce it. Went through 320.30. So some of you guys got long there. Now your next spot here is 329. First spot to pivot above this lower area was 313.54. Stalled at 320. Then today got through 320, and now here it is. I would definitely take some off. If you want to hold some. This will be your next resistance area. Apple's not doing a whole heck of a lot. Its numbers are next week. It's not really breaking this, but it's not really doing anything. I avoided Apple today. I traded Apple the other day. It was decent when this into that, when it's calculated. Now it's just trying to hold on, and it'll be pushed around based on what tech does after the close. I'm still in Etsy. I bought it a little cheaper, which was good. I didn't pay up for it. Chart still looks good. It just, the upgrade, wasn't so great. So I would say, put your stop here. That's where my stop was. It held in there. Square was pretty impressive. Held in there. I'm still in some. This pattern's building. Earnings are next week. I wouldn't say be all in, but I would wait till after earnings if they deliver. There was some fear here across of PayPal, but obviously not the same businesses. What else? Beyond. My goodness gracious, Beyond. We talked about the pivot, which was 208.48. Most of you guys, no one really shorts it that I know. But how high did it get to? So far, 218.85. Wow. Guess I should have sat in some options, but whatever. You can't go broke booking trades. And this was a great trade here. Bought them and sold it into this move, and then all of a sudden, if you got short because you said, hey, this looks like a red dog reversal, this day it regrouped, you should have been out of it when it broke above here. And now look at it. Lots of positive talk about this, even though at the high valuation side, maybe the business and the industry is that big. I don't know. All I know is use your pivots, not your opinions, and stop listening to people on Twitter. But as unless this all of a sudden fails and gets below this, this still looks like the squeeze is on. Would I be buying it now? No, I would have been buying it here or through some of the intraday pivots. It's extended from the 8-day, very extended from the 21-day, but still doesn't look like a short yet. ZM. I was in it. I got stopped out actually. I had a stop at 97.75. This still looks like it's building, taking its time. CRWD, a few guys made some really good money here. Again, why would you have made money here? Well, it got through 89.44, okay, hit and continued. So she already hit a high of 89.44. Needs to prove it can hold above this and take this out for more gains, which it did. And there you go. Congrats to DP for getting awesome focus. RVLV, somebody was talking about that today. Again, rejected. Nothing new there. Pins is taking its time. 3 up days. That's why that's why we have a day count sell rules. Day 1, okay. Day 2, add. Get paid on day 3, reduce. So you don't care if something like this happens. Now see if it hangs in here for another trade. LK also. That was fantastic. Fantastico. Okay, this is your buy day 1. It was down. Buy it in the whole, add above this, and then sell some and inside day. Traded above this, sold some, and now you'll see does it hold this. I actually bought a little bit of a dip before, but I'm not like so enamored by it now. Just let it play out a little bit. It's come a long way. Going back one more time, where's Google? nice wedge pattern, okay? If they are in line and beat by a bit, I think all they have to do is beat by a bit and not come out with some crazy stuff, and it could take this out. I hope so. And Amazon's going to need to be really, really strong in order for this to actually, get above 2035 and stay above it. If it does that, then this could be a blimp. And if it gets above and stays above that, then all of a sudden all those 22, 23, 2400 price targets could be met, but it's going to have to beat most metrics. So we shall see. I'm in the options there, and hopefully it's not a zero. So again, it's 225. I'm doing this now. I'm going to be trading on the VTF. They'll see what I'm doing live if it is conducive to what we're looking for. Once the market closes, I can't do anything with the options anyway till tomorrow. You have your levels. You know what things are coming out with. Intel, not really that interested. It's come a long way, and I just, it's right back at this gap here. Semis have been pretty strong. It's going to have to be very solid, but I just, I'm not sure. I have no interest right there to playing Intel. I've played it many times. We've done really well with it. At this point, it just had a big rally back, so it's going to have to be pretty good. I'm not expecting a big move to the upside in Intel, but, I'm not buying puts or shorting it. I'm actually in AMD still. That to me is looking good. Earnings aren't for a little bit. Again, a little inside action here would be nice. Sell some strength, buy a dip, laugh, cry. I'm kidding. Anyway, so in order for this to stay special, you could draw this like this now, a little sideways action, and maybe it continues. So that is that. I hope everyone's having a good week. We've had a bunch of things working out. A lot of the new issues have been busy. A lot of range type trading, and if you're having success, great. If you're not, pull it back. Don't be just trading in the after hours trying to hit a lottery ticket, because that'll set you back even further if you're wrong, and then doesn't make for a good end of the summer. So I personally don't want to. I lost a decent amount of trading Netflix after hours, so it's like you're gonna have to really show me that it's a solid report and it's gonna get above those levels for me to buy. And if not, probably just gonna let it go. And I'm risking enough that I'm willing to lose by having my options, because options are risk is premium paid. Have a great night, and or good luck in the next few hours, and we'll see how it all boils down. Have a good one. Bye bye.